All right, man. So Isaac TeSlaa is balling early in Detroit Lions training camp with the pads on. Um, the whole thing about with him is he going to be able to, beat press coverage? That's the number one thing about it. Can he beat press coverage? Um, um, and he's getting off the line, getting those releases. So yeah, he getting off the line, getting those releases, man. So if that happens, and then, he got the athleticism. And a lot of people equate separation with speed. You know what I'm saying? Because, you kind of think of the long, distance running or straight line running. But a lot of times the separation is created in your route running. You know what I'm saying? How you setting up guys for route running and shit. And you hear in the Buffalo camp that Keon Coleman, former Spartan, is having problems separating. And a lot of times, if you don't have a quarterback that just trusts you're gonna win the ball, because there are some receivers who don't get separation, right? You just trust that they gonna go win. You just trust that you can throw them open or you give them a chance and they gonna win. You know, but Isaac TeSlaa, for the most part, is showing the ability early in camp to get those releases, and if he can release on the outside, eventually, just like Jameson Williams, the route running will come, right? But with those hands, that size, that speed, you know what I'm saying. Now you kind of really want to add the strength to it and the route running, and that just come with time. You got some guys that come out of college that's a master route runner, like Jackson Smith and Jigba. You do get those guys that are just polished out, but for the most part, it takes time to become a great route runner, especially when you have a lot of physical gifts that make you cut corners. When you're not as physically gifted, you have to actually hone in on those things. So, with TeSlaa, he's very physically gifted, and if he can, absorb the coaching that he's getting, honestly, you can probably see why Brad took him. Now, is he going to overthrow Tim Patrick year one? I would say no. I don't foresee that happening. Um, will he cut into his reps eventually? Yeah, forsaking it's not an injury, but it'll take time. It'll take time. But for the most part, sometimes you go to a program like Arkansas, they don't have the best quarterbacks, or they might not have the best, coaching staff. You give them some NBA coaching staff, NFL coaching staff, and it's like, this is all he needed. Give NFL strength conditioning, that's all he needed. NFL quarterback, that's all he needed. So, do I expect him to be a wild card? Do I expect him to be a wild card this season? No. Not maybe to the end of the season he can do some things down the stretch. But in reality, outside of Tim Patrick, they did need that other receiver on the outside that can jump up and get those 50-50 balls. I remember Roethlisberger when they got rid of Plexico Burress and they went with these smaller receivers, Antonio Brown, Antonio Holmes. The list goes on. Hines Ward, and they got rid of Plexico, and he was like, I would like to go to a bigger target. It matters. They both have their pros and cons. A bigger target, one of the cons, you get hit a lot of body. They got a lot of body to hit, but they are stronger. They give you a better, catch radius, bigger target to throw to. The smaller receivers don't have that much body to hit. Usually better be able to break down in routes a little bit better, a little bit more shiftier. So Lions got Raymond, St. Brown, J-Mo, and then, really Tim Patrick is your taller receiver. And now, for the most part, you got to add Sam Laporta in there being a bigger target too. And now you add, a guy like Isaac TeSlaa, with the speed and the size that he has. It's like, really, you can see why they took the risk. And another thing I noticed too, I'm not going to mention this, I'm going to forget, is the Manu Giovanni guy, the guard or tackle they took. He was playing left tackle. They had him playing left tackle, with the second stringer. So I told y'all, with that athleticism, he wasn't going to stay a tackle. I'll tell you that right, a guard. I'll tell you that right now. He wasn't going to stay a guard. But, so I just wanted to say that. But, I think it's good money, bro. I think it's good money, man. So, not surprised. You can find receivers anywhere in the draft. You need to find them. Don't forget that you can find receivers wherever you need to find them. And if he is another weapon that the Lions had to use, what is John Morton's calling card? What was Ben Johnson's calling card? Explosive plays. So you got to remember too, he won't be going up against the first corner, a lot of the second corners. He won't. Even if he is, they won't roll the attention to him. And that's the beautiful thing about the Lions offense is the attention is not on one guy. It's not. You got to pay attention to run game. St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, Khalif can hurt you, Tim Patrick. So it's hard to roll coverage or roll your game plan on one guy. So he got him into a good situation, really good situation. Local kid coming to a good situation. So but yeah, he doing some good things early on, and hopefully he continue to get better and he becomes a major contributor to what we got going on in Detroit. So for the Lions, but hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, Twitch, Cash App, Venmo. CJ Good 313, Venmo, same thing. PayPal link description. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.